Mic check 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. Good evening. My name is Ansel Mamanya, the first speaker from the team of farmers that comes and tells us that they are going to make sure that they hitting Japan with the Japan cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki with atomic bombs was actually morally upright. And they said the USA it was actually something that is morally upright. But that was not morally upright at the end of the day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these people come and give us a narrow definition of the word, which terms it as a political philosophy. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the Greek mythology, they say that the unjust are not morally upright, ladies and gentlemen. But these people came and tell us that they actually want to actually support this. Allowed?
Now, if at all it's not the end that should justify the means.
First, it's a moral hazard. We are seeing that if the end justifies the means, it means individuals can actually justify their unethical actions in pursuit of their goals. Imagine right now we lived in a world where prostitution are still suffering. Argument is the violation of human rights, ladies and gentlemen. This end justifies the means actually justifies human rights violations such as torture and oppression. I mean, leaders can actually go on and go through torture people and oppress people thinking they're actually justified. For example, take Putin's actions in Ukraine, in Georgia, and other neighboring countries. These have been seen as reflecting willingness or use of achieve, but this person is actually torturing. It was ending the World War II. These people could have sat down on the table. They could have discussed issues. There was no need to actually go and bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki with atomic bombs so that you can, up to now, people are still being affected because there's actually a way to solve it other than you doing the unethical way, ladies and gentlemen. Then there's erosion of trust. Societies are built on trust. Ethical values can be eroded when people believe that those in power are willing to use any means necessary to actually achieve their goals. Now we take an instance of a family, ladies and gentlemen. When you go down into a family, let me say a father is trying to impart authority into the family, beats up a child to death, trying to impart discipline, ladies and gentlemen. Is the end still justifying the means at the end of the day? I believe that's not the case, ladies and gentlemen, and with that I beg to rest my case.
Spare the rod, spoil the child. That is what typically they are failed to understand. A child is groomed because you do not move out, you do not take away the canes from the child. Now, that's what they have failed to understand. To have a political citizen, to have a developmental citizen, to have a person who is beneficial to the society, that child has to be implemented. And now, you see, we do not look at the means. Now, look at if a person is acceptable, if a person is important in the society, we are not going to look at how did he grow up. The means, maybe the means were harsh. We don't want to know. But the impact he is having for the country is typically what we are looking at. That's what we say. The end justifies the meaning. Now, we come and ask, there's always an ethical discussion, there's always an ethical alternative. Now, we ask them, if I thought there is an ethical alternative, what was it? An example of the World War II, like for example, what we gave. What was the ethical alternative then? The ethical alternative was discussion, which failed. Which literally failed. So the only thing that had to be made was the bombing, and which brought an end. We come and bring a fact of people suffering now. What if those people are suffering? They are suffering, but they are living, right? But 32 million by that time that brought in that came after the bombing was good. For example, we see people there. We have seen people. We saw people saved. 32 million people saved rather than the 8,000 people. Now we come and tell you that one of the things. Now we are going to talk about the COVID-19. Now, you know that Uganda, as a country, Uganda had to cripple, its economy crippled because it was doing what? It locked down it locked down the country. What? But what was its objective? Its objective was to save its people, right? Its objective was to save its people from the infections, which it attained, though the means were not valid. We do not look at the means. We are looking at what someone benefits after what? After the means. We come and tell you about the anti-gay bill. Now, you know Uganda has been a developing country. It's dependent to other countries, right? It being dependent to other countries, so which means its economy is kind of contributed to other countries, the European countries. That's what we are telling you. But now, Uganda comes and knows that, you know what, we have cultural morals to promote. We have cultural morals to keep in place that shouldn't be removed.
When it was actually accepting Christianity.
Now, I'll come to Christianity, sorry. Now, you see, we are here Christians. We are living just because God had to sacrifice his only one son. Do you know what it takes? God sacrificed his only one son. The son he loved so much. He was almost also crying. If at all you could see him. That's what we are telling you. It's because the means we are not caring on whatsoever means you take. But what is the aim about the Ukraine and Russia war, right? Now, we come and tell you, in our parameters, we close this debate on only something that is globally accepted. The Ukrainian war, it has divided the country.
The truth is, Pano, that such people always come with justifications for their immoral acts. No wonder someone can tell you to save the 32 million people, which was a hypothesis. Pano, we don't accept this. In justifying this, they tell us that the result was they had to go back to table and settle the dispute. Why wasn't it done before? Is there a woman to satisfy their sexual desires? The end of this intention is to satisfy their sexual desires. What are the means? Rape and spoil the child. In Kalangala, the new vision of 2021, 15th November, cites that a daughter was actually, we shall not complicate the case. Honorable POI, we shall evaluate the point of domestic violence. We had a visit, or we had a recollection, or we someone, you don't want to know what you want justified in the affirmative case. And they say that the intentions are good. Now, we also want to look at the ADF strategy in Uganda. The ADF feels the government is not competent enough or does not deserve to be in Uganda. What have they decided to do? Bombings. What have they decided to do? Killing people. At the CPS, they killed policemen. They destroyed the buildings. Ladies and gentlemen, is this justified because they want to attack our dear government? Save this. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall not complicate cases further. Let us evaluate as a family basis of providing best identified as the thief. First of all, how do you feel as a person or the child to this father? Bad. Is this justified to the family? Does it give the moral act? If your father actually came and told you, I don't have the money, people, let us eat what we have. Let us eat this. We shall evaluate the massive destruction of forests in this climate change era. You decide to destroy forests on a large area because it's not actually applicable in the current.
Ladies and gentlemen,
good evening, the House at large, to antagonistic bodies and the pan. Wasn't there another way without bombing Japan? Was it morally right? First of all, I would like to take them back to the history. Japan was being a very stubborn kid, and America told it to behave, and it refused to behave. Actually, it attacked America's secret base. That's when it attacked America's secret base, even after America telling it to, but after invading only one island of Japan, they realized that the cost of life is too big. So instead of invading the whole of Japan, they will only destroy 2 districts. They come and tell us that the rate of people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki are still dying today. But I would like to tell them, if a desired result is important enough, the methods used to obtain the results does not matter. And that brings back to our parameter. Our parameter says that the means might be immorally wrong, but the end changes. But was this bombing and this change of government a universal decision?
POI,
which again brings us to our I said rejected, which again brings us to our parameters right now. Should we continue? Should ADF continue bombing us just because it wants to change the government, which universally does not benefit anyone, and that's in the world, and majority of the people. That's what happened in Japan. 80,000 people were better good dead than 32 million in these people dying. Team negators do not. The camera has legs. What's the use of stealing? Can't your father go and work? There are labor sectors. Okay, let's take he's not educated, but can't he work in the labor sector? Okay, leave labor. Can't he? Sanctions were made and no choice was left. That's when this decision was taken place. That same happens with French Revolution. King Louis was a very in this country, in this world basically. Democracy was brought from French Revolution. Tell me, is democracy better than killing those 2 kings and queens? No, democracy was way better. So we chose a right decision. People died and we controlled it just because we put the SPOs. It happened with the anti-gay bill. The anti-gay bill came in Uganda, and okay, people rioted. People's rights we are violating. But what rights we are violating? Those are rights that are not extended by it. Uganda might be able to work on its own since the 2/3 of the nation's budget is taken. So this has a benefit. Maybe that means we are wrong. But let us tell the team negators that what? No, we are doing something when everything has failed. Like in Japan, everything failed. They should go back and go to history. They even came and told us, time up. So basically, as team affirmatives, we believe that this debate is a comparative analysis and
Yeah, excuse me. Good evening. Excuse me, guys. Please, ladies and gentlemen, getting in. Please get of schools. Please, let's so that we don't have such unnecessary movements. Get in and settle down. Should I mention the name of the school?
The panel, the two antagonistic bodies, and the August South today's debate. Team Affirmative come up and they tell us, I want to quote their first speaker. They told us that the end justifies the means. It means that killing someone. That is what the first Affirmative said when he was going to sit down. And he gave an example of spare the rod and spoil the child. And then the father wants to teach the child maybe the child stole something and the father is punishing the child. And the father goes to an extra mile of the bombing is up. You're wasting my time. I continue. They have intervened. And you'll be asked in society to whatever I'm telling you. Spare the road and look at that situation. That's what